Hi, everyone. Welcome to Fight Net Radio. Lee Hanish, Andrew Lapache, talking about boxing. Today's show is about boxing. This whole week is about boxing. In fact, I am delirious. In fact, I had to go and find a song about being delirious because this might be the greatest week of boxing in a long time. If Canelo Chavez lives up to the hype, I'm on a delirious little high from what happened on Saturday night. If you live under a rock, you live under a tree. We had arguably one of the biggest heavyweight fights in the last 20 years. What maybe came close, Andrew, in your mind? Tyson versus Holyfield? I mean, what's the last fight of this scale in your mind?
It has to be a changing of the guard more. See, Tyson Holyfield was two superstars coming together. So, yeah, and as far as star power, yes, that was a huge fight. This is more of a, what would you say, like a Lennox Lewis? Maybe a Lennox Lewis versus Holyfield, or Holyfield versus George Foreman. Something where it was a change, where we found out, we knew.
So you're saying more like Mike Tyson versus Larry Holmes.
You took it right out of my mouth. Yeah. Yes, sir. That was my final one. Yes.
So the anointing of the next big guy.
Yes, sir.
And as anybody can tell from the title of this show, am I bitter about the fight? No, I'm not. I got a great heavyweight fight, and that's all I can ever ask for. But as you can tell from the title of the show, one lucky uppercut.
And it's not over.
I would safely say this. He pulled that fight out of his ass. And anybody who does it, like including Joshua, look, he's going to go back and watch that tape and realize you pulled that fight out of your ass. And that's what boxing is about, right? That's what we want out of it.
That's why we love it. Yes,
sir. That's why we want heavyweights. Look, Klitschko pulled it out of his ass. I haven't seen Klitschko put somebody down of that caliber in forever. And he put Joshua down. He made Joshua see God in one ring. So, hold on. For those of you who don't know, Anthony Joshua is your new undisputed lineal heavyweight champion of the world by TKO round 11. The stoppage came on a stupid stoppage. You could have stopped it on either one of the two knockdowns in the 11th, and I couldn't argue it because Klitschko was way the hell out of it. Like, he was not there. But the stuff that he was throwing that they stopped the fight on, his hands were up. None of it connected. It was kind of ridiculous. Let's start with the fight itself.
Let's start with the entrance. Have you ever seen a bigger entrance for a fighter than what Anthony Joshua received at Wembley last night?
Yeah.
That was incredible, bro.
The last English guy to do it.
That was incredible.
Right? That's Prince Nassim Hamed style ring entrance.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think he ever did it in front of 90,000. That just the atmosphere.
No, honestly, okay, let's be honest. If Hamed had won right against Barrera, right? If he had won in the big moment, would he be in the sweepstakes for all those big fights like Marquez and De La Hoya? Would those
it would have been
Pacquiao,
yeah,
right?
Him and
all
Pacquiao,
those big fights, right? That would have happened for Prince. You're telling me that as he ramps up to Pacquiao, that doesn't turn into a Wembley?
Oh, yeah. I get that, but no.
He'd have been flying in on wires for those fights. Okay, he would have been.
He did for one fight.
Well, he was on a carpet.
Flying carpet. Yeah.
Joshua just came into, WWE
like
style.
Well, yeah. It was like 3 intro songs. I mean, how many songs did they play before that kid actually reached the ring?
Well, they had to come 50 yards, didn't they?
The rising of the stage, the fire.
No, he got the Drago treatment, no doubt about
it. That's what it felt like, Lee. That's exactly what it felt like.
It definitely was.
I wish America would learn off of the UK's the way that they entertain their fans on their entrances. It's they beat us by far. This isn't the first time they've staged something where I'm just at awe in how much they put into these guys walking into the ring. And what's sad is Las Vegas built a new T-Mobile arena, Nothing's really changed. I mean, you could put that same entrance in the MGM Grand. It's the same thing, and it's brand new. So it's kind of sad that they didn't pick up anything off of how much the UK's been showing fights over here in America lately, and just how much better of a show production they put on.
I will say it. The brilliance, literally the brilliance of Eddie Hearn to turn this into a spectacle. I'll say it again. Right now, the hottest hand in boxing is promoter Eddie Hearn, who sat there ringside. I watched him. He was nervous.
He's got the fighter now.
His boy cut it a little close there for him, but
a little close. Woo.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about it.
It
First
was
5 rounds. Let's start round by round. I'm sure you took notes. I definitively said rounds 1 and 2 were Klitschko's rounds.
I had a split.
I
had a split on those ones.
I thought he came out and looked substantially different than previous versions of Klitschko. He was up on his toes. He was moving.
Yes, sir.
He wasn't clutching and grabbing. He was decided. Based on whatever they saw, Klitschko's game plan was to make this a boxing match. Instead of a typical heavyweight brawl of not trying to go toe-to-toe or muscle-to-muscle with Joshua. I think they actually felt that they could outbox Joshua. What was your perspective on those opening rounds?
That's exactly what it was. We talked about this going into the fight. The Klitschkos, the brothers, Jonathan Banks, they all knew they had to get Anthony Joshua into the deep rounds to have a shot at winning this fight. And that's how exactly I thought how this fight played out early on. Like you said, Klitschko was on his toes, jabbing, not firing the right hand, kind of gauging his opponent, seeing what Joshua had. And I thought it was working for him. I didn't have it 2-0 going into the third. I had it 1-1 for each fighter. I gave Joshua the first round. I gave Klitschko the second, and then we went into the third, and I had I believe I gave that one to Joshua also.
Yes. 3 and 4 are arguably the other way. But by round 4, I'd say it was a close fight. You could go 50-50 at that point. Both guys are in it up to round 4. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, there's a lot of respect being shown in this fight. You got Klitschko gauging the younger fighter. He doesn't know what kind of power he has. He probably wanted to see the power before he actually got into an exchange early in this fight. And on the other side, you have a young man, 18 professional fights in front of 90-something thousand people fighting a guy he probably looked up to coming up in the amateurs. This is a big moment for Joshua at this time early in the fight to actually be in the ring fighting Wladimir Klitschko. It was huge. There's all the reasons in the world why both of these guys were nervous in the first 4 rounds.
And then what I call panic round for Joshua, round 5, where whatever they whispered to Joshua in the corner lit a fire under his ass, and he came out in round 5 with the intent of establishing everything. And that's the round that he cuts Klitschko open, and it was straight up like a Rocky movie. You cut Drago. I mean, he bullied and beat up Klitschko in the 5th round, knocked him down, not once, but twice, as I recall. Did I get that correct?
No, it was just once in the 5th.
Once in the 5th.
Yeah,
okay.
Twice in the 11th.
Twice in the 11th. So he knocks him down in the 5th, cuts him open, but he can't get him out. Couldn't finish the job. He, in fact, gasses out towards the end of the 5th round.
There you go.
Right?
Yes.
And he goes into deep water where Klitschko actually mounts a comeback and almost gets him down in the 5th, but it's still a 10-8 round, by all accounts. Fair statement?
You're right on money, Lee. This is the first time.
I watched every second of this fight. It was like eating chocolate. Like, this was...
the fight that saved boxing. I'm telling you right now, the response that the internet is giving it, I've been getting text messages since yesterday.
It's arguably one of the greatest heavyweight fights. It is definitely. I would go back to anything Evander Holyfield did with Riddick Bowe or Mike Tyson or like.
Let me not
I'm
get
hard
too
pressed
deep.
to really think of that many rounds of good boxing.
It's not, because like you said, it's gonna be Lewis Holyfield 1. I think it was the last competitive heavyweight fight we've seen. It wasn't that the draw. I know Lewis should have won the fight, but it was a very close fight. It was a fight where there wasn't one guy getting destroyed. See, boxing's problem in the last few years, even Lewis versus Tyson, big names, didn't live up to it at all. Tyson kind of got manhandled in that fight. It wasn't competitive like what we thought with both names on paper. But that being said, I don't want to get too far in this fight. I'm on the 5th round because, Lee, the 5th round is where we see our first flaw with Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, he overextends.
He didn't, but Lee, he didn't really overextend. If this is this guy's limit, what?
It
1 minute?
Literally showed.
Yeah, 1 minute of fighting, and you take
no,
Lee,
no. Look, I'm gonna grant the kid credit and say that's it was a psychological drawback. I'm not gonna.
But there's things that play out after this. Not only does he lose the second half of this fight, Lee, he loses the next 3 rounds and is dropped in the next one.
Okay, hold on.
I know. I'm not
going to get up to the first 5 rounds. For those keeping track at home, I had nachos for the first 5 rounds, and they were quite delicious. Then for the second half of the fight, I switched over to a fine selection of meat products for the second half of eating during the fight. Like, this was a glorious half hour. Like, I almost wanted to hit pause in between and extend this to an hour if I could. If I had to do it again, I'd watch each round, pause, do something, like just to take more in. Because round 6, I swear to you, I just thought Joshua was going to come out and finish the fight. All he needed was a minute, and he probably would have gotten it done. But for whatever reason, they made a correction in that corner. And look, we can all have an argument about how great Joshua is. He is the undisputed lineal champ at this moment. I'm telling you, that right hand that Klitschko threw in the 6th round in slow-mo from 6 different angles was, you see God from a punch that hard. I mean, that punch hurt me on TV. I have been hit a lot, either doing stupid stunts or for various other reasons, right? And you did the amateurs. You've been hit really hard. That punch changed Joshua's career. Joshua's never been down. Joshua's never been hit that hard. And now it proves that he's a flawed fighter that can't take a jab in a right hand. Everybody's going to watch that 6th round. Everybody. I think the worst part of the evening for Joshua... Look, when the tides turned... Once he got hands on Klitschko again, well, we'll get to it, but that punch changed Joshua's future. Listen, I guarantee they protect him if they can. If they don't go for a trilogy of fights here.
Oh, yeah, no, you're wrong. This fight isn't done. This fight isn't done. Financially, this fight was a success. In the ring, it was a success. They are going to bring this fight back. Klitschko doesn't care if he wins or loses. This is your retirement check out of this sport.
It's a trilogy of fights.
The 5th round is more important than the 6th, people, because you got to look at the activity of Joshua before he totally gasses out. There's no other reason why this kid gasses out than his own doing. It's all on him. Klitschko doesn't hit him to the body. Klitschko doesn't throw a combination at him that rocks him. Right. This kid throws like 9 punches and is done for the next 4 to 5 minutes. I'm telling you, that's the first major flaw we've seen of Anthony Joshua. Whoever remembers, going into the 6th round, when that bell starts, he is still gasping for air so much, he spits his mouthpiece out. They have to take a break. They give him the mouthpiece. They start the fight back up. Klitschko drops him with the perfect right hand. If Klitschko is 5 years younger, he doesn't make it out of this round. People must understand this. Look that man was